Is this thing on? It is. Okay. Hi guys, my name is Clarice and I am going to be teaching you how to paint loosely in watercolor. This series is called the Costa Brava Series and it is based off my upcoming watercolor retreat in Costa Brava, Spain, happening in May 2026. If you want to know more details on that fun trip, check out the link in the description of this video and come join us. Limited spots, so make sure you do it soon. All right, let's get into our lesson. So in this video for the Costa Brava series, we are going to learn how to use very simple and basic watercolor techniques to paint this pretty coleus leaf, a tropical leaf that you find pretty much all over in the tropics, including in Costa Brava, which is where the retreat or the watercolor retreat for May 2026 is going to be. So let's get started. So we're starting off with supplies. I'm going to tell you real quickly what I'm using. I'm using my Bao Hong watercolor paper. I'm using Mailing's watercolors as well. I'm listing all of these supplies in the description as well, just so you have access to them and you can use something similar, or you can find these online over on Amazon or your local art store. For brushes, I'm using the Princeton Neptune number 8. My preference is actually the 6, but I can't find my 6 right now. And then we're using the Princeton Heritage in 3/0 and number 3. This is a great little brush for details, so I just keep it handy just in case. Okay, so on that note, let's begin. This is a very loose style of painting, which is typically what I like to do. It's short, it's quick, and allows for so much grace when you make mistakes. And this is where letting loose and letting go is what I call therapeutic and fun, especially using watercolor. Okay, so let's begin. So I'm going to start off with doing the leaf. We're going to start off with mixing some of the color. Now I'm very partial to beautiful light greens, so I'm going to use the yellow green and the olive green. So two different greens happening here for our leaf. So starting off with the yellow green, I'm going to mix some of that onto my palette. And I want this to be a very muted mixture. So that's why I'm mixing a lot of the color and getting more of a watered down version of this. Okay. So we're then using this. And we're going to go ahead and paint a very rough looking leaf. You can also start this off by just using plain water to kind of do this process. So now I'm roughly washing off the color from my brush, and we're going back in and filling this up with water. So you're kind of essentially touching the edges, and that's what pulls the color in to the center. We're then I'm going to rest this brush aside. We're then going to add some pink to this. So for my pink, I am going to get the rose red, which is right here. And I'm getting the color directly from my color cake because I have water down here. And then I'm going to start from the top, and I'm just going to kind of, not really zigzag, but I'm kind of like blending it into this water. This is called the wet on wet technique in watercolor. Getting color directly from the color cake enables the color to show up brightly on your sheet of paper, because guess what? We've got water on the sheet already. So adding watered down watercolor to a base that has water will essentially give you lighter colors, which we don't want. Now, time is of the essence, so I'm going to get some of the olive green, and I'm dropping that into the edges of my leaf. And this is going to give me a darker result for the edges, which is what I want. And you want to do this when it is damp, again, to get those beautiful blending effects or gradient effects that wet on wet style of watercolor gives you. So you can see this area right here is not blending, so it's more of a straight edge. This is blending in, and that's simply because this area dried up some more. So what I'm going to do is roughly wash off the color from my brush, and with a damp brush, I'm just going to go in there and just blend that in. And that's pretty much it. Now, if you wanted to get more details to the edges or make darker edges, you can just go back in with more of the olive green, and this will give you more of a blend. And this part is called layering, because you're going to notice then when watercolor dries up, it dries up a lot lighter than it initially looks. So one more thing that I want to do is get more of that pink and drop it in the center, because I want different variations of pink happening. So again, we are layering or doing a little bit of wet on wet within our pink sections as well. And then last but not least, find something with a nice fine pointed tip. I typically like to use the back of my brush. So something like this. And then what we're going to do is, while it is damp, we're drawing in the veins for our leaf. So the one right down the middle, and then we're going to be extending from the vein outward. Or you can go from out in. I'll leave that entirely up to you. So here's from in out, here's from out in. And notice the direction of the color. So for instance, as I'm doing this, I'm getting some pinks happening on the outside. That's because I've got pink on my handle here as I'm doing it. Over here, you get a little bit of pink happening at the edge because you're extending the pink from the center and you're leaving it on the out. So just going to take a little bit more of that green, drop some more of the green. Okay, I needed to wash this brush off. I'm seeing more of the pink in there. Getting more of the green, dropping it in right here, just to get a nice darker feel and cover up those pink spots, because we don't really want them now, do we? But even if you did want them, it wouldn't be wrong either, because these leaves are just so pretty with the 2 colors or the 3 colors that it typically has. And such a beautiful, beautiful result. So you can repeat this as a pattern or just have it as a standalone and then add another element to it. Entirely up to you, but this is how easy it is to paint a leaf like this. Okay, so we have reached the end of this lesson. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what you thought. Post your work, hit the like, hit the subscribe, all that good stuff. And again, if you're interested in the Costa Brava Watercolor Retreat happening May of 2026, check out the link in the description and join us. Limited spots, so make sure you book yours quickly. All right, guys, thanks for watching and we'll chat soon. Bye.